hard to believe that like I have to go after and fight for her because I would do that anyways.
In real life? Don't say that. Scratch that. I'm scared of those guys. Don't come to my dreams.
まあ本当にさっきも言ったように、まあ実際にいた方の話でとても面白い話だった。
Welcome to the Austin Film Festival. I'm Danie Craig here on behalf of the Paisano, and I'll be doing some red carpet interviews. Let's get into it. What made you want to film in Texas? I know Texas is kind of growing in the film industry right now. Is there something here specific?
I'm from the Austin area, and I'm from up in Georgetown, and I went to school here at UT, and so we had to film it here. It was like a lot of these were from our stories while we were at UT, and so we had to do it here.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. So what was your favorite part of making this film? It sounds like a crazy film.
It was a wonderful experience, and honestly just bringing the people together. This movie from the start, party people, it's about the people involved, and it was just such a wonderful team with a ton of locals from Austin and a ton of wonderful filmmaking talent. And it was just such a joy from the beginning, from pre-production to being on set. When you have a team this good, it elevates the project and it makes the experience such a joy.
Do you see yourself in any of the cast? Like, were you a party person growing up, or?
I think the unique thing is that we see little parts of each of the characters in us. So I don't know if I have like a specific one, but there's definitely times where, you know, it's funny because you relate to it, right? It's hopefully authentic and real. So that's what we tried for. Yeah.
If you could sum up, or if you could go back and talk to your self 10 years ago before she was coming into this industry, what advice would you give her?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say don't wait for permission because no one's going to give you permission. You try and work your way up through the ranks, like that's great, but if you can scrape together money and fundraise and make something yourself, there's a lot of independence in that, and it's really empowering, and it's kind of awesome to not have to wait to get the green light from a studio to do that.
Did you have any favorite moments on set that happened? Any memorable stories?
Well, there is a moment where we had to basically make a condom water balloon, and so not only did we have to figure out how to make that, we also had to figure out how to make it burst in the right way, and that involved throwing a lot of water-filled condoms around a parking lot and figuring out what was the funniest bounce or like what made it burst, right? And it was pretty absurd, and it was honestly really fun. Yeah.
Okay. So we heard about the balloon condom that was done. Is there any other memorable moments that happened on set?
That's a good question. Chris Sibley, our producer, had an RV that we used, and I stood up in it as we were walking home from set once, and I bonked my head on one of the cupboards, and I got a huge bruise, and I was really scared because I thought it would like ruin continuity. Luckily, it kind of subsided somehow, but that was a panicked moment. Now it's funny. At the time, very scared. Yeah.
If you could crash any party in a movie, what movie would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's so good.
You sucks, whatever you want. TSTV though, absolutely. No, I was like, that was my senior year.
Maybe like one of those parties from Babylon. I feel like those are pretty crazy.
Okay, awesome.
Or maybe you know what? I just saw Megalopolis, that crazy party where Adam Driver gets like really messed up on all these drugs and goes insane. I want to crash that party with a gladiator. So
that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
And that's it for the Party People premiere. We interviewed some of the cast, we interviewed the director, the writer, and some producers. We're on the red carpet for La Gloria, and we're going to be interviewing some of the cast, the director, and the producer. Let's get into it. As a Texas-based filmmaker, how important is it to you to support local talent and buy?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really want to support. I mean, Texas is a very unique place, and people, only locals can tell those stories. And I also believe everywhere needs a local storytelling, film, everything, and I'm a huge believer in Austin arts. Also, San Antonio, it's an amazing city with an incredible history and incredible culture. And if it's not told, it disappears. And if it's not recorded, it disappears. So I think it's absolutely very important, yes. And I would love to support it.
Awesome. Could you tell me a little bit about your role in this film?
Yes, the character's name is Harley. He's a border agent in southern Texas. And his father is an old rancher, they're a bit estranged. And there's an injured immigrant that lands on his property that my character has to go hunt down, and creates an issue a greater issue between the two of them, but forces a reckoning where maybe they need to come closer together.
And I know this was filmed in Texas, and Texas is growing pretty rapidly in the film industry. What do you think about that? Do you see yourself doing more films here?
This is the second film I've done in Texas. I did a television show in Texas a while back. I love working in Texas. I would come back here in a heartbeat.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Do you have any advice that you could give students trying to come into this industry that are finding their footing?
Yeah, and I say this a lot, and I'll just keep saying it. You know, the people that you're with right now, a lot of them are going to become your friends, but also your real working partners. You're discovering a lot about telling stories. Take care of each other and really be serious about what you're doing, because you're going to want to keep working with each other as you go on. And just go for it.
Awesome. All right, guys, and here we go. We're about to interview the cast and crew of Ravens. Let's get into it. Is there anything that you hope audiences take away from this film?
I think that people take away, I hope that they take away something where they find their own inner voice a little bit, because it's part of the film. There's an inner voice in all of us that tells us what to do, to be inspired, to make art, to not make art, whatever. And I think that in this film, as sad as the story is, there's still positivity in it and inspiration. So I hope people come out of it thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to go do something creative. I'm going to go take photos, something like that, or paint something, or make a film.
What are your techniques about getting the best performances out of your actors?
Well, you cast it well. If you cast it well, that's 90%, I think, of the job, and then trust them. Because I write as well, so it's nothing better than giving a really great actor like Paisano my work and watch him take it and own it. And as a director, what you're looking for is just that, do I believe it and do I like it? And everything Paisano did was just magical. So I just trust them and maybe make a few adjustments, but cast it well.
Just trust.
Cast it well.
How was the collaboration with the director?
ディレクターとのやり取りはどうでしたでしょうか、コラボレーションが。
いやもう本当に監督がそうですね、我々のやることにきちんと耳を傾けてくれてたんで、そういう意味でわりかし自由に我々はやらせてもらいました。
So he was very complimentary to us. He very listened to our ideas, and so it was very easy to work with because he really listened and took our advice during filming.
If you could go back and give yourself any advice when you're starting out in the industry, what would you tell yourself knowing what you know now?
自分が若い自分を訪問して自分にアドバイスを進めるのにどういう若い自分にアドバイスがあるんですかと面白い質問ですけれども。
まあ人には絶対合わせない方がいいと思う。
So really, you just kind of be yourself. Don't try to do what others want you to do. Kind of be yourself.
Where the piano lessons premiering, we'll be interviewing Virgil Williams, the writer who adapted the play into this feature film. If you were to go talk to yourself maybe 10 years ago, coming up as a writer, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say keep writing. Calm down and keep writing. And no matter what, keep writing.
Yeah. So we talked to the director and cast from Texas Cult House, a horror film coming out pretty soon. And to finish that question, how were you able to work with the cast and bring out each character's vulnerabilities?
So some of the cast were actually former students of mine because I teach on camera acting, so that was really fun because I knew their qualities, and then others were friends of mine, so I feel like we just had such a trust with one another that it was easy for me to work with them.
Is there a specific slasher that you think you could take on, like Michael Myers, Freddy?
Give me a shot. Like in real life? Don't say that. Scratch that. I'm scared of those guys. Don't come to my dreams. No, like Freddy scared them out of me, So, no, I like to play. If I find the end, I'm in too. Yeah.
If you were to place yourself in any horror film, or which one would you place yourself in / which killer do you think you could go up against?
I don't know if this is considered a horror film, but I'd probably put myself in Carrie. and I tend to root for the underdog. So I would probably be standing right beside her, covered in blood, getting my revenge.
I love that. Okay. Do you have any favorite scary movies, especially since it's around Halloween time right now?
So again, Halloween is one of my favorites. But I will say in the last 25, 30 years, my favorite horror movie outside of this one is The Strangers, the original Strangers. That kind of stuff scares the hell out of me because it actually can happen.
Yeah.
Like anything that's like a reality, I'm like, oh god, based on true events, horrifying.
So probably not a big fan of Black Mirror.
Not a huge fan, but I am. But I will also watch it because I'm kind of a masochist.
Yeah.
Like, how much can I scare myself right now?
All right, guys, I've been Danie, and that's it for the Awesome Film Festival Red Carpet interviews. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll catch you soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our other videos, as well as following our other platforms to keep up with exciting news.